This new show has more nuance than my local news.
This week on Dice Friends, Graham will not be jet-lagged, sick, or recovering from dental surgery.
It's true.
That's true, yes.
I mean, like, here's the thing with people who are like, oh, don't legitimize Twin Galaxies. Twin Galaxies is the organization that gives Guinness its video game world records, right?
Yeah, we're not the ones legitimizing.
No, that's Guinness. Like, Guinness is like, you are the people who are in charge of this.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and like,
Your sinuses are right next to your brain, with Adam's brain being too big. That means he's in extra danger.
From what I understand, Twin Galaxies primarily focuses on like the older ones. Too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Just 'cause
like,
nobody else really cares.
but yeah, but for stuff like this, like that's like Guinness does not have the like the will, I guess, to administrate this, so they farm that out. So like, Twin Galaxies is the authority. Period. Well, then let's stop legitimizing Guinness. Yeah. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the same argument can be said. Why does a beer company have the world records?
Because they thought it would because
It was
it
to
was like,
settle pub disagreements.
yeah.
Yeah.
The founder of Guinness like overheard people arguing in a pub, and he's like, you know what, maybe we could publish a book to.
Let's settle this once and for all.
Yeah.
But now everyone has Wikipedia on their phones, so.
I mean, it's good advertising for
But I mean,
Guinness.
someone, you know, it's the kind of conversation with like, how many blank can you fit in your mouth at one time, or like how far can X, Y, Z thing happen?
It's also like, it's like, why is the greatest accolade for a restaurant Michelin star? The tire company.
Yeah.
You know, the guy with the fat bibendum. Mm-hmm. That's.
I mean, world records are dumb.
It took me a second to. It took me a while to actually realize that was like when like Gordon Ramsay and all these people were like, oh, Michelin star.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you mean a Michelin, like Michelin the tire company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Droomy says Twin Galaxy's shady about some of their records, though. Yeah, like here's the deal.
Well,
a lot of people have said like the original like Twin Galaxies crew were pretty shady, but Twin Galaxies is under new ownership, and the new owners are definitely trying to go back and reinvestigate these kind of things, which is why you know you had that dragster record go away.
Why there's been all this talk about it lately, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, stories that we did. Yeah, I just was sort of like, Battle Royale is obviously the new hotness, to the extent that MOBA, the previous hotness, is like clearly
not the hotness anymore.
I mean, the most obvious example of this is Epic
ditching their MOBA,
shutting down Paragon because
focus on Fortnite.
Fortnite Battle Royale has been so successful. But I also mentioned in this story there was an interview with Automaton, which is a team from the UK, that they're making the argument that so they're working on a Battle Royale game that they're calling Project X for right now. That's the working title. And their argument is that all the Battle Royale games that are out there right now suck, like from a technology standpoint.
Not necessarily a gameplay standpoint.
Because they are built on engines designed for other games. Which is fair. Which is a fair assessment. And so they're basically, they want to redesign something from the ground up that's scalable. And there's a beta coming soon, and their thing is like, if this all works out how we expect it to, with this cloud-based service, which is sort of like, I'm trying to remember the name of those, the service where you play whatever video game and it's played on a server, but you just see video of it, basically.
Well, it's not.
Well, that's how they describe it in the article, is basically that like everything happes online and your computer is just sort of like a window to.
Yeah, it's everything except the actual rendering of the thing happens online. So your computer is still doing the 3D graphics. Okay. It's not like you're just getting video.
Right. But anyway, so they're
like on live. Yeah. On
their proposition is between they're like, this could handle between 100 or 1,000 players on a map larger than Skyrim, and it's like, that sounds fucking sweet, but I mean, I guess we'll see. But I mean, it's I can't disagree with their assessment that basically all the Battle Royale games have technical challenges because they're built on engines not designed for that. That seems like, well, I believe you.
I mean, the stuff they talk about in the when they're or in the sort of stuff they're talking, this new game Project X or whatever that they're going to do sounds really neat. Like basically they're saying that by putting all the actual like simulation stuff on the server, and so just sending the data to the client, and the client does all like the video rendering stuff.
Yeah.
But all the actual like physics and everything is done on the server. That they can do, you can have stuff with like, animals running around, and you can like see people's footprints and all sorts of cool stuff like that. Yeah, they're talking about like being able to track people like through the way they've interacted with the environment. Like they have lofty goals, and some people are saying like that would take forever to play that game. It's like, well, the only reason PUBG takes half an hour is because of the territory exclusion mechanic, right? Like which you could still do on a map that size. It would just be a lot more frantic with a number of people. Like you could easily... I mean, there's all sorts of... Or you could have like...
You could play on a map the size of Skyrim and still have it only be a half-hour game.
It would be just like sprinting.
Yeah, just the whole game would be running, right? Like it's... There's ways to make it take less time.
Or you could have like multiple islands of okayness, or whatever. It's not like... there's different
the only reason
ideas.
You don't end up with one person at Millbase and one person at Zarki as the two last people in the game just like hunkering down.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's really cool. Let's see if it happens.
Yeah. PUBG cheating.
Lots of people cheating PUBG. Stop that. I mean, there's nothing much more to say.
A million players in January.
I do like that PUBG banned more people in January than
many games would be happy to have players.
Yeah, it's like you guys are horrible cheaters, but you want to come play our game?
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
EA, I think EA is learning the wrong lessons.
Correct.
From Battlefront.
Yep.
Because
they've got the cause and effect backwards.
Yeah.
It's like the problem is not that the controversy stopped people from playing the game. The people getting mad at the game caused the controversy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even when they took the microtransactions out when the game launched, they said at the time that they'd be bringing them back, and they're definitely committed to doing that.
Which is like, I would imagine that obviously I haven't played Battlefront, but like if I was somebody who was a fan of Battlefront but got turned off because of the microtransactions, if they took them out but then said that they're going to bring them back in later, then it's just like, sort of Damocles. It's like, okay, so I can play this, this game and enjoy it, but at some point it's all going to be taken away from me.
Yeah.
Why should I bother?
Mm-hmm. The follow-up to the Donkey Kong.
No, I discussed it.
Yeah. It was an in-depth report.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think he's up at 350,000 now, but Doc is still streaming strong.
Whenever you say Doc, I think Magic Doc.
Yeah. I miss Doc
first
streams.
Doc in my heart.
MTGO Doc, yeah.
It's
but
yeah, I guess good job on Twitch that you got yourself figured out so that we
I guess he's offline now.
So that you can see us. But yeah,
thanks for freeing up all that bandwidth.
When there was for a while there, PUBG was on the top played or top viewed game on Twitch with 450,000. 350 were Dr. Disrespect, 50 were Shroud, and then about 500 other people.
It was like 7,000, 5,000, 2,000, 300, 200, 200, 200, 100.
Yeah, and then the long tail, as it were.
What happened to MTG Doc?
Law school.
Finishing law school.
Turns out that's a real time suck.
Yeah. And well, I mean, like, he could have put less time into law school and failed his classes, but he opted not to do that.
He was already a doctor. It's very high achieving in terms of
right.
higher education.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll come back when he's not, like, rammed by school.
A couple Konami stories.
All right, yeah, other stories.
So I haven't been playing Metal Gear Solid 5, but there's this, like, world event where...
Because there's, like, an online component to it. Yeah,
or there can be if you choose to pursue that, where people are... They're trying for nuclear disarmament.
Well, or that is a thing.
That is a goal.
That is a thing that people can try for.
Yeah.
You can get rid of all of the nukes.
And people have been trying to do that.
It's like you can.
It's an officially encouraged thing.
You can make. Yeah, you can disarm other people's nukes. I think you're basically like stealing them and disarming them, and you can also create nukes.
Yeah. And
surprise, surprise.
And like a year ago, people found this pre-rendered cutscene in the game that's supposed to play when they're all gone, and it's Miller being like, "Well, I can't believe we did it, boss, but you know, it's an amazing day for the future of the world. All the nukes are gone." So that happened. That cutscene got played last week, but there's still nukes.
Yeah, people were, because there's like it's like a public number.
Yeah.
And so people were like,
a what?
And so, yeah, I do love that it's like, people
are really confused.
It is just the nuclear disarmament, nuclear disarmament is they're having trouble. The people who are trying to do it are unsuccessful because of people making nukes to like defend their base or whatever.
Yeah.
And people who are just trolling and making nukes, which is a terrifying idea. That I'm really glad that that's not that we don't have like say forums or online communities that have access to weapons of mass destruction.
I'm just glad that we don't have people named Gange Lover 420 being the kind of people who are making nukes.
Yeah. It was like at least have a real name.
Yeah. So apparently Konami also doesn't know why that cutscene happened, but because it played to everyone who plays the game, but they're looking into it and they're like, ignore that.
I do love that it does create the headlines where it's like Konami announces nuclear disarmament.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like good for them, I guess.
Also, they're still releasing TurboGrafx 16 games for the Wii U.
Yeah, the thing is now.
This is confusing.
Yeah.
They started releasing them after the Switch came out.
Yeah, well,
someone at Konami was like, no. I have put a lot of work into this, and those games are still going to come out. And they're like, okay, right?
It's
don't bother. I guess Konami, so he's in Japan. So don't bother Ichiro. Let him. He's got his desk. Just don't come into his cubicle.
It's one of those people on like little islands who never heard that World War II ended kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's that it's like somebody is in like they're in like a building off campus working real hard on this. I mean, we did that the crap shot about the guy on the like LucasArts tip line.
Right.
It's that kind of thing. It's like somebody's like, okay, I'm gonna get through this stuff. We can make this. Everyone's gonna really love playing these on their Wii U.
I mean, the thought might be, we'll put all the work into them, put them out on the Wii U, we can move them over to Switch. It's easy, right, if they're on Wii U, right?
Well, but we have no idea what the state of a virtual console is going to be on the Switch, because Nintendo hasn't said what the virtual console... Switch Online is happening in September, but they've said nothing about a virtual console.
And theoretically, the architecture of the Switch is totally different from the previous one, so you may need to be... Who knows? I think, from what I understand from the article, a bunch of these games were games that had already come out for Wii U in Japan, and so it's like the translation efforts
Except
were
one of the ones
ongoing.
that just got released isn't translated at all.
That's true. I guess. Yeah, that's true. They didn't even. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I was actually just talking to Beej earlier today that it would be what we really need for the Switch Virtual Console is an emulated Wii U, because if it's got an emulated Wii U, the Wii U can emulate a Wii, and the emulated Wii and the Wii U can emulate a GameCube, and we can go all the way down.
All the way down, yeah.
All right, what else we got going on here? We got
well, and you actually sort of piggybacking on Kathleen's PUBG story.
Oh, did they just
a new information from the story that just came out is that their latest patch.
Right, because I said in the story that they have something that when this story came out, they were doing something on their test server and they were going to be rolling it out to their live servers.
Yeah, so what they're talking about what that patch is going to be. And this is the new sort of anti-cheat system.
It's coming out today.
It's going to search the game files to detect if there are third-party programs running that might affect or interact with Battlegrounds, and you just can't launch the game if that's the case. And that includes reshade, which changes some visual stuff about the game, because reshade might also allow you to get a competitive advantage because it changes how the game looks, right? So like changing how grass looks or whatever. They've made it really clear, if you use reshade, you're not going to get banned for that, but you won't be able to use it. It's like, we're not going to, like we know that reshade is not explicitly for cheating, so we're not going to ban you if you use reshade, but you'll need to uninstall it if you want to play PUBG.
Right. I mean, is not being able to play it, I mean, that's sort of like being banned.
No, because if they detect like an aimbot,
then you do get banned.
Then they'll ban you.
Oh, yeah. I see.
And you're banned, and then all your account and achievements and stuff go away. Reshade is just, if you have that installed, you won't be able to launch the game until you remove it, and then you remove it, then you're...
I mean, obviously, stuff like that is always sort of the cat and mouse game, right? They'll come out, they'll come out with that, and then somebody else will come out with something, to... They'll crack the crack or whatever.
They've warned that certain third-party apps that do not affect gameplay, like video or audio recording software, might also be affected, but they said they'll be working quickly. I'm just reading a Polygon article for you. Working quickly to correct any non-malicious software that's blocked by the anti-cheat system. This patch goes live tonight at 6 p.m.
Cool.
There will be no server downtime while the patch is applied.
Why did they... I guess at least it's not like 6 p.m. on Friday night. But I know, because obviously we use it a lot. Whenever a new version of like XSplit comes out, in the patch notes they'll always be like, they'll have like fix for this specific. It's like for Tomb Raider, whatever, because it'll like see XSplit as a thing that's trying to like capture the screen and be like, woo, something's happening.
Hey, Crunch Bandersnatch is apparently It is unconfirmed but heavily rumored that the Insane trilogy, Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, is going to come to Switch and PC.
Apparently, it was like ridiculously successful.
Well
it was really good. It was a really, really good remake.
And the thing is, there's a lot of nostalgia, like buy-in from people nowadays who remember playing the Crash games, probably some of the first games they ever played.
Yeah. And apparently, Activision's working on a new Crash title for 2019, but that's I'm a lot less. I'm a lot more worried about that. Let's put it that way.
I mean, it's got little boxes in it already. It's perfect. Wumpa fruit could be like currency.
Oh.
I mean, it's already got like 10 different things. It's got like the gems and the anks and the crystals and
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about how most of the Crash games since Naughty Dog just weren't very good. But I hadn't even considered the loot box possibilities.
The idea of like current Naughty Dog, as in like the Naughty Dog that made like Last of Us and Nathan Drake games and stuff, making a Crash game in that style would be pretty funny. Like a hyper realistic Crash game.
Are you okay?
Yeah, Sector 88 says, Atlas just put out a survey recently asking about opinions for more SMT remakes. Digital Devil Saga was on that list. I want that. I want a remake of Nocturne, though. SMT3, best SMT game by a large margin.
You do have, though, the highly collectible, both parts of Digital Devil Saga.
Yes, I do.
With the cardboard slipcover, no less.
Yeah. I mean, I do. But I would like to play that game, like, say, on a Switch with upgraded graphics.
To Emily, Paul just went through them all. Like, there's the fruit, which if you get 100, you get a free life, and then the gems and the crystals, and then the Onks are for time trials. It's not really.
But I remember first playing it. It seemed like they were just going like through a thesaurus and be like, "What other shiny rock thing is there?"
Yeah.
But
you get one crystal in each level. It's just in the level. You get a gem for getting all the boxes in a given level. There's 5 colored gems if you do a special thing. And then the Onks are for the bronze, silver, gold, or platinum Onks for time trials.
So the
time trials are brutal.
There's the one other story here. Speaking of like, punishing people in games. So there's a game called iRacing.
Yes.
Which
is
like they pride themselves on being like the most hyper-realistic simulation.
Thanks, Anubis. I knew it wasn't bronze. I just couldn't think of what it was.
To the extent that people who have been very successful playing iRacing have then gone on to be actual race car drivers.
Professional racers.
And many successful professional race car drivers, either in their downtime or when they retire, become successful iRacing players.
Yeah.
Including, so Scott Speed.
I do not believe that's his real name.
If not, then if it's...
I'm going to look it up.
If it is his real name, he is very lucky.
Oh, I hear.
Anyway.
What's the term for, what's that, the term for, like, you do the thing that you're named for? The, like...
predestination? I don't know.
something like that? Anyway, sorry, continue.
Anyway, so he was, 2006, he was a Formula One driver. So his account in iRacing, and
thank you, nominative determinism.
He's actually been, so he was actually like he was involved in some of the, did some consulting for iRacing, but his account has been suspended because...
For him being a shit.
Well, because of him doing a thing that would get you in big trouble in racing, which is like basically going up, being too aggressive in doing like...
Trying to intentionally crash into another car.
Right, because like in actual real racing, like almost any contact with another car is very much not allowed.
Yeah. Those cars are worth too much and it's too dangerous.
Especially like also when you get into the really like Formula One stuff.
The lives of the people inside.
Exactly.
I said it was too dangerous.
And so it's considered to be, and there's levels, right? There's like poor form, which is being like a little over aggressive.
Yeah.
And then there's actually like, doing, and so, and he pointed out, and I believe that people have confirmed this, that he was actually like, it was basically
retaliatory
somebody else was messing with him and then he was doing it. But the idea that I love the idea that they're, in order to sort of push this idea of it being as close to a simulation as possible, they're including the idea that if you aren't playing the game like the way you would be driving, that the punishments that they're doling out are the same as they would be. And so like the company that makes iRacing is like, yeah, we actually, we really like this guy. He actually worked with us on making some of the stuff for it. However, we don't actually adjudicate that part. There's like a separate council that they established in the same way as they have in actual race, in physical racing to do that.
Yeah, it's very like, we're basically racing, but we're iRacing.
His name, by the way, is Scott Andrew Speed. That's his actual name.
Good for him.
A couple people are still talking about SMT remakes. Somebody's like, I heard Persona 5 was kind of like SMT, like thematically Persona 5 is a Shin Megami Tensei game. Thematically, it's very cleverly done, but it's very much a Persona game. Shin Megami Tensei games are like, hey, do you find JRPGs too easy? Do you want to hurt?
Do you crave pain?
Yeah, it's going to hurt and you're going to like it. It's like, it's yeah. It's the video game equivalent of like a dominatrix.
There was there was also a thing about Dragon Ball Z Fighter, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, there's a cool, this wasn't really like a story necessarily, but there's a really cool video if you want to sort of like a look behind the curtain. If you, it's on Kotaku, I think. Someone got a video, it's like 50 minutes long, of all the supers in the game with the camera at like a fixed, very, very wide position. So you sort of get to see all the technical animation tricks that are done to make the super moves look how they look. Because if the camera's moving around, there's a lot of stuff that's hidden, and so people will move and then like rotate in place because the shot is actually like spinning around them, sort of thing. Yeah. Or there's just weird filters and stuff that happens, or some things aren't 3D, they're actually sprite based and only pointing at where the camera's supposed to be. So it's just one of those things that it's like seeing the tricks that are used to make everything look the way it's supposed to look.
My favorite part actually was they're showing like there's like I think Goku or somebody like does one of his moves and his arm becomes huge right before he does it. It reminded me a little bit of that thing with like Overwatch stuff where they were showing the smearing stuff.
Smear frames.
But it's this idea where because of how they set up the camera, his arm becomes huge.
Sector, no, I haven't. Please tweet that at
me. But from the angle that it's viewed at, it's like a forced perspective thing.
Yeah.
And so just to make it look sort of more dramatic. Yeah.
I like the one for Fallout New Vegas, I think it was.
Oh yeah, with all like how they made things happen.
Well, specifically how they made the train that they didn't have like a good system in place to make a train go along the track. So what they did is they made the train car is a giant hat, and they put it on an NPC. And so there's a picture of like the train car with just a body hanging off the bottom of it, and then they just had the NPC like walk along the thing, and you couldn't see the person because they were inside the track area. And so that's how they got the car to move.
Just the concept of the train car as a giant hat, I love so much.
It's just
that's at least that's better than what they did
I thought that was fake. Nope.
For Watch Dogs, I love the way they did the train in Watch Dogs, which is they basically didn't like the train like it just goes along, but like it doesn't turn. Yes, like when there's a turn of the track, the train just goes like. They like didn't care.
No, it just makes a hard 90.
Anyway, we should
let's welcome our subs.
Thank people who subscribed.
Yeah.
Such as this person, Undead Scholar, who is a new subscriber. Woo! Welcome.
No Superman 10 for 19 months says, I always feel like I should write something clever in here.
Well, you're no Superman.
Next month.
Lying in Bedmon with a 2-month resub. 2 subs, that's almost a sandwich. I'm gonna have Subway for lunch.
Matrix Knight 88 for 2 months. Back for month 2 of the madness. Thank you.
Mattman X311 for 17 months.
The Woogly with a 17-month resub as well. Who's that guy? What's he doing on Checkpoint? I don't know.
Canoe Crasher for 9 months. News. I hope your canoe's okay.
Endigraph for 10 months says, alas, poor feed dump, we knew thee well. Checkpoint shall shoulder on, delivering the comedy side of news.
Dragon Spike with a 3-month resub. Glad to see Graham is feeling better after his beagening. Yeah, I recovered.
Yeah. D-Links for 6 months. Welcome back.
Adalius3 for 2 months says, the recent tweet about the Winter Olympics combined with Checkpoint makes me just want to use Lure for all news.
Yeah, the Olympics are starting like next week.
Noonies is a new subscriber. Welcome, Noonies.
Marlon Spike 19 has subscribed for 4 months in a row. Thank you.
Koizum with an 18-month resub says,
TCat 13 for 2 months. Welcome back. I'm glad we didn't.
Castle Otranto for 54 months says, don't do the bad thing.
Anubis169 with a 50-month resub. Whoa, ooh. I really care. Whoa, subbing live on air.
Booster 6 for 3 months. Hey friends, check those points real good. I'll see you in the VOD.
And Shaipa is a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel.
Hey. Space Carl with a 26-month resub. Oh, hey, it's button time. Yay, button.
Count Sword for 7 months. Count 0. Lucky number 7. Gang's all back together.
Helgruder for 17 months.
Mirnus, 50-month resub. Just notice I can click share. Good show tonight. Thank you.
And thank you for 556 bits from Foxmar320, Earthen 1, Colatfoot47, Splash for Mirrodin, Magical Writer, Unsung Wit, and Rock Pusha.
Yay!
Yeah. Also, I forgot that, of course, that it's Monday. The Olympics start this week. Opening ceremonies are on Friday.
Well...
And you would never have known.
No, because I have, like, most sources of news blocked because they make me super anxious these days.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, if you say, like, man, nobody told me that it was starting. I have all news blocked.
Yeah. I've been avoiding all forms of interaction with other humans, and no one told me.
I was waiting until I saw the Yuri on Ice community start posting, like drawings and stuff of, like, Yuri winning an Olympic gold medal with Victor coaching him, because I figured that would be the time that the Olympics were on.
I would imagine the Yuri on Ice community has got to be right in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Yuri on Ice community is there for figure skating news. I know so much about figure skating now.
You think someone's gonna do a? You think someone's gonna
maybe
perform?
as an exhibition, piece probably.
What if they do their normal whatever their Olympic routine, but with their music
at Worlds?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's all choreographed with music, so you can't really do that. But at Worlds, they did like a little like exhibition. Everybody coming in with flags to the Yuri on Ice theme.
Nice.
There's only one person. There's only one group of people that likes Yuri on Ice more than hardcore Yuri on Ice fans. Professional figure skaters.
Yeah. Damascus Crow. Yes, this is the Olympics Canada is good at.
Yes.
We hope so, anyway.
Yeah, we'll see how the hockey goes. There's no NHL players this time, so
well,
it could be really interesting.
I evaluate how the hockey.
We still got very good junior hockey players.
I know.
So.
I evaluate how the hockey goes based on when it's going on, how much screaming I can hear from my apartment, because I'm about 2 or 3 blocks away from a couple of different bars, which usually isn't a big problem, but. On like NHL, like, you know, Stanley Cup and or like Olympics, it lets me know how things are going. So I can tell whether they're mad or happy. Which actually, no, I can't. Now that I think about it, because those sound very much the same.
Speaking of, anybody from Philadelphia in the chat? How are you doing this morning?
Smoldering, I imagine.
Are you okay? Anyway, that's good.
I feel like
pardon me.
Ice dressage should be a winter sport. Ooh. Taking the most exciting Summer Olympic sport.
Hungover.
Grant got bonked. All right, so Colette Foot is hungover. All right, well, as long as you're not like rubble. Why? What happened in Philly? They won the Super Bowl and were very upset.
No, they were very. They were so excited they were angry.
But it's very hard to tell. Like Paul said.
They were so happy they had to tear their city apart.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl, so they had to break everything. Imagine if they'd lost.
Yeah.
The same thing would have happened.
Yeah.
I'm a Patriots fan now. Well, you have other Super Bowls to comfort you in your time of need.
And the Philly destroyed themselves. So hey, feel happy about that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, with Vancouver and so forth, we don't have like a huge.
Oh, I know.
Huge moral high ground.
I tweeted last night. I was like, hey, anyone from Philadelphia who's planning on like going downtown today to like help with cleanup or whatever, do that. That's great. Understand that nobody will report it, remember, or care. All anyone is going to say is like, look at everyone in Philadelphia. These people rioting represent everyone in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because Vancouver, there was a riot after after the Canucks lost the Stanley Cup. And then a bunch of normal people went downtown the next day and like cleaned up and, you know, helped businesses get back together and, you know, like actually made the city nice. But no one ever talks about that. Everyone's like, look at literally everyone in Vancouver and this is what all of them are like. So, yeah.
Izandi, you have a point.
People just cleaning up doesn't make really good news, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, but let's. Speaking of cleaning up, we've got some stuff to do before we do our D&D stream, which is coming up tonight at 5. What a segue! So we'll catch you guys.
We got all these level 2 characters lying around. We got to put them into the ocean.
And about 2
get level 3 characters instead.
Woo! And then and then tomorrow, I'm playing Shadow of the Colossus. The new fancy high resolution edition, on which to be and I know it may be confusing for you because I did actually previously play Shadow of the Colossus, the new fancy high resolution version, 2 years ago
on PS3.
On PS3, but this is the even newer,
that's shit now.
The even newer, even fancier, even higher resolution version.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I think it'll be fun, and it'll be pretty.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna go have food.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.
I don't actually have the thing to turn it off on my phone.
I'll just hold. Hold.
I'm gonna have a nap.
Hold. Hold.
Hold.
Bye.
Goodbye. Good night.